was a young actress, and it was a full first day. I remember I was home that night, and the phone rang in my house, and my roommate at the time, Tina Cassidy, said, "Jamie, John Carpenter's on the phone."
Yeah.
I thought, why is John Carpenter calling me tonight?
Right.
Oh, I'm going to be fired. You know, picked it up very tentatively, like, hello? And John, only time this ever happened, Pete, in my life, John Carpenter said, "Hey, darling, I just wanted to tell you how great you were today.
Wow.
And how excited I am to be able to make this movie with you." It just made me really understand that it was going to be okay.
Welcome to the Actors Side. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Welcome, Jamie Lee Curtis, Academy Award nominee. How does that sound?
I am getting used to it. It's funny. I remember when I first got married, and you speak about your husband, and you say it the first time, and you're like, "Oh, I just said my husband." I'm just getting used to it. I've settled into to this beautiful sort of warm zone. I'm out of the frenzy of it.
Oh yeah, so now it's like, you know that'll follow you everywhere. It's the first line in your obit.
Well, no, the first line in the obit is "Halloween actress dies." It does not say Oscar, ooh.
Oh, wow.
That would be called a Freudian slip, and I did not mean that. I meant, I don't think it will say Oscar nominated. I don't think it will say Oscar nominated Halloween actress dies.
Okay.
I think it will say Halloween actress dies.
Okay. All right. Well.
And then maybe in the first line of the thing.
But
yes, it does. It's funny because it isn't something I have paid attention to. I actually see it in movie trailers, and I find it to be a little annoying because I appreciate why it's supposed to give you some level of gravitas, it's some level of import. But I feel like we don't need that.
Right.
Just our name is enough to...
I know exactly what you mean. I see that in trailers all the time. It's like Academy Award winner, then Academy Award winner. And I always feel sorry for the fourth or fifth actor on this in that movie where it says nothing. You know, because they
are. And it is. I mean, obviously, I am delighted by the entire experience so far. Getting to meet you, getting to sit here and talk about movies and Colin Farrell, and getting to talk about Jerry Bruckheimer, who was here before me.
Just here,
a man who has given so much to this industry, and that his moment of getting that acknowledgement for the incredible work he's done. Colin, of course, who.
And all and it's so many first timers this year,
which is beautiful.
Which I think is really, and it's a first timer for Jerry Bruckheimer.
Well, that's my point. I mean, it's just it is without question the highlight of my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed to I've been married for a long time. I got to enjoy having a married life. I have 2 children. Both of them I have raised to adulthood. I have had both of them get married in our backyards.
Wow.
In our one backyard.
Yeah.
Same backyard, but both of them were married in the backyard. I officiated one of their weddings. So I've had beautiful moments in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I've had tremendous success in my business life. Tremendous success. Way beyond any imagining. But of course, there's just nothing like this moment. And I'm so happy that it's happening. if it was going to happen, that it's happening when I'm 64 years old.
Yeah.
My feet are firmly planted on the earth. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know what I'm not about.
Yeah.
And so in the season of shiny things, I am fully evolved as a human being and as an artist. And I am delighted to be in the company of these beautiful actresses that I've now gotten to know through the circuitry.
Yeah.
And feel a little kinship with.
Yeah.
So I don't feel a competition with any of them. I feel a kinshipness.
Yeah.
And I'm very much clear of who I am, and that's a blessing. If this had happened when I was younger, still trying to figure all that out, I think it would have been much more complicated.
You know, it's interesting. You've answered the question to what Paul McCartney was asking. Will you still love me when I'm 64? You found out.
Well, yeah. You know, it's so interesting because I just had my Beatles birthday, my 64th birthday, and I've had many friends and family have their 64th birthday. And I take the lyrics of that song and then I buy I make a basket and I buy everything from the song. When I get older, losing my hair, I usually get a nice Mason Pearson hairbrush, losing my hair. You know, will you still be sending me a Valentine? I get a Valentine, birthday greeting, a birthday card, bottle of wine if somebody drinks, if not an apple cider.
Wow.
And I fill it with a clock, a watch, a lock.
Oh my God. I didn't know what I stumbled onto here. This is amazing.
It's actually because it's an important birthday, because of that song, because of the Beatles being the most important musical influences for many of us.
Yeah, for sure.
And so yes.
I love that.
Yeah, and that I'm still here at 64, and that I'm
bigger than ever in this business as a producer.
And as a producer now.
All of I just read Amazon. You're going to do a series with Nicole Kidman. You're executive producer as well.
Well, we're in the business side of the show business.
Yeah.
But it was leaked today that we're in
Kay
these
Scarpetta.
That Kay Scarpetta. Patricia Cornwell has written 25, 30 books with Kay Scarpetta as the lead character, and Nicole Kidman, again, hopefully it's all going to work out, but Nicole will play Kay Scarpetta. I'm going to produce it and star alongside her.
Wow.
With my little company, Comet Pictures, and Blumhouse, my partners.
Sure.
And Amazon as the home for it. So this has been 3 years in the making. And so I have been actively trying to expand my life as a producer and as a creator in this moment.
Which you did on the last 3 Halloween movies.
Yes,
too.
and the truth is that the reason I connected to Jerry Bruckheimer in that way, just having met him here today, you see, the Halloween movies gave me the chance to have a company. I would not have had Comet Pictures were it not for Halloween.
Right.
And not only were it not for Halloween 1978, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill.
Sure.
I'm saying the 2018 version of the movie, the success of that movie gave me purchase at a company who said, hey, you got a lot of ideas. Come here.
Yeah. Make
a company here. And it was on my own initiative. So the success of those movies have given me now a creative life I would not have had. I would not have had it. Yeah. It just would have been that dreaming part of me that didn't get realized. And because of the success of Halloween, I now have a company. And from that company, I was able to go to Patricia Cornwell, who I know, and say, hey, Scarpetta. You know, I also wrote a screenplay that I hope to direct called Mother Nature, also at Blumhouse.
Wow.
I'm doing another TV series for Amazon, also at Blumhouse.
Oh my goodness.
So I am trying to be a producer. I'm trying to be a creator. I'm having a creative life that I never thought I'd get to have.
And that's so cool with Nicole Kidman, hopefully there too, because that's what she is too. She's produced so many movies and television for her as well as others too with her company.
She is extraordinary, and I will share this with you. I've always admired her.
Yeah.
And we didn't know each other. And I was at the Oscars last year as a presenter. And I was, sort of looking up at the theater like, wow, this is amazing. And my friend Heidi Schaefer,
Yes.
who was sitting there for a second, said to me, somebody wants to say hello. I said, what? She said, behind you. And I went like this. And Nicole was standing there. She was a nominee that year.
Yes.
And
the Ricardos.
yes, and a fantastic, fantastic performance.
Unbelievable.
And she looked at me and she said, we had a beautiful, I won't tell you what she said because it's very private, but it was a vote of confidence for me as a human being, as a woman, as a mother. It was a moment of admiration.
Yeah.
And I was able to mirror it back to her.
Oh.
And little did I know that 6 months later, we would connect on Scarpetta. And
Fate.
that my intro to her for Scarpetta was, hi, Nicole, we met at the Oscars and you said this. Well, this is what I'm doing. I would love to do it with you.
Oh my God.
And so it does feel that all of the years, and again, my mind goes to Jerry Bruckheimer, all the years of hustle,
Yeah.
all the years of hustle and heartache and hustle and success and hustle and hustle and hustle and hustle is yielding this creative time that I could never have imagined, Pete.
It's so great. And I even heard Lindsay Lohan say, Jamie called and said she's got an idea for Freaky Friday.
Yeah. And we are in conversation with Disney right now.
This is what a producer does.
You know what? It's what a producer does. It's also the motto that I woke up with when I turned 60, because up until 60, I was not a maker. I've written books for children. That came from me. That was something with my partner, Laura Cornell, that I have seen an idea of mine become a living thing, which is a book, many times over. But I have never been able to take something from idea to fruition. And I've tried over the years. And at 60, I woke up and thought the motto for me for the rest of my life, because the truth is I woke up at 60 and thought, I'm going to die soon. I mean, sooner than later, I'm going to be gone. Mm-hmm. And the motto became, if not now, when? If not me, who? So it basically took everybody else out of the running. It was like, get out of your own way, because if it's not you, who's going to do it?
Right.
And if you're not going to do it now,
when? Yeah.
And the tick-tock of the clock of my physical life and my understanding of the way show-off business works, this creative position and portal that I now am in, demands that you pay attention to it. And I have like put my whole being into a different gear now. And then to have, and you have to remember, we made Everything Everywhere All at Once 3 years ago.
Yeah, so many of the pandemic movies and things, you know.
But this is pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic you had done this.
This was in January of 2020.
That's amazing.
And so who could have ever thought that a little movie shot in 38 days in Simi Valley would yield this moment of, it's a movie that has changed people. Oh, yeah. And it's just an extraordinary idea that this is the moment for that movie, and then it's been out for a year. The movie was released in April of last year.
Yeah, at South by Southwest.
That was the opening. The first exposition of that movie was South by, and then the movie opened right after. And
became this hit. Like my wife and I, we went because we had a critic at South by who reviewed the film, but I hadn't seen it, and we went to Playa Vista, this theater nobody goes to. And we're going to go to that third weekend, I think it was. And we went, and she said, you better go online and get tickets. And I said, there's nobody that ever goes to the theater. I said, all right. And I did. And I could barely find 2 seats together. And that was into the run there. And I watched that with an audience, a real audience. that paid money, and they were rapt. I mean, you could tell this was speaking to them.
Well, it's about so many things that seem a little wacky, but really it's about love.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about redemption and family and failure. All of our failures. We all ultimately, as humans, we just fail each other. It's hard to be human. It's about the immigrant experience that isn't told. That story of what the American dream really is.
Yeah.
And of course, my role,
Deirdre. Yeah.
Deirdre is the reminder that the American dream for most immigrants is very challenging.
Yeah.
Because the bureaucracy that we put people through in the name of America is very difficult.
And how many Deirdres are there out there?
Well, but we've all met Deirdre.
Yeah.
First of all, we all are somewhat Deirdre. Two, we've certainly all met a Deirdre in our life. I certainly know Deirdres. And Deirdre herself is a forgotten person. Yeah. Deirdre is a woman who wields the only power she will ever have in the universe in her job. And that little cubicle is Captain Kirk's, star command, whatever that thing was. Like when he sat in that chair, he was in command of whatever it was. Was it a spaceship?
Yeah, it was like the Enterprise.
Okay. That's her enterprise.
Yeah.
She wields and deals, and that is her power. But then when she goes home alone.
Yeah.
She is alone. She has no human contact. I chose to have her get her nails done, that she was very nail-centric.
When she wasn't having hot dog fingers.
But even the hot dog fingers, the art department put on her nails.
Yeah.
But the reason was because I think it was the only physical contact that Deirdre had during her week.
Oh,
is when she would go in for her manicure,
Yeah.
and someone would cursorily give her a hand massage. For a woman like Deirdre, that was the closest thing to human contact she got.
Yeah. I have to ask you, did you always want to be an actor, considering your lineage, where you came from here?
No.
You didn't?
No, I was so I'll tell you a couple things, because you'll like this. So Ray Stark was a friend of my mother's and father's, and Fran Stark, when Ray, I grew up with them.
Sure.
And you know me.
Oh, yeah.
We've met just now, but you know me.
I
can't
believe we just met. I feel like I've known you my whole life.
I'm this at 12. So
Really?
You can only imagine me at 12. I'm precocious, I'm a little flirty.
Yeah.
I'm sort of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Ray Stark called my mother and said, I'm making the movie The Exorcist. Will you let Jamie audition?
Ah.
Because I was 12.
Right.
And my mother was like, no, no. And I understand why, completely understand why. So I have been this
Right.
all the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was not an intellectual. I barely crawled out of high school. I mean, crawled out of high school.
Right.
I was a cheerleader.
Oh,
Duh.
well, there you go.
You know what I mean? I had sort of whatever. And I never thought I'd be an actor. I thought I'd be a police officer.
Wow.
And I came home from college, where my mother was the most famous woman to have graduated from that college, the University of the Pacific in Stockton, California.
Okay, yeah.
They somehow accepted me. Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Before Nepo babies were Nepo babies.
Yeah, wow.
There's something called legacy at college, where if your family went to college. Anyway, I went there, had no business in higher education. I was a little sister at a frat and was majoring in criminology. I thought I'd be a cop or a social worker or work with people, because I'm good with people. And I came home from Christmas break and ran into a man named Chuck Binder, who used to be a tennis teacher at my friend's house, and walked up to me, when I saw him at her house. He said, by the way, I'm managing actors now. You should go up for Nancy Drew. They're looking for Nancy Drew for television at Universal.
Sure, yeah.
And I went, oh, okay. And I auditioned. I drove to Universal, auditioned for Nancy Drew, didn't get it. But I ended up taking the month of January as an independent study because he said, you should stick around. People liked you.
Yeah.
And I auditioned. And I ended up signing a 7-year contract with Universal Studios with Monique James and Dorothy Kilgallen.
Sure. Oh, wow.
And I quit college and became an actor with 0 training, 0 plan. Yeah. My teeth were gray from tetracycline when my mother took it. And so, you know, the first thing somebody said was, you got to get your teeth fixed.
Yeah.
And I became a contract player, and I did contract work. I did
Operation
I did, well, no, that was a big job. Yeah. I did, like, if you go on YouTube, I did the season opener of Columbo, where I'm a snarky waitress, and he took that clip on The Tonight Show.
Wow.
And all of a sudden my friends were saying, I saw you on The Tonight Show. And I was like, what?
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I did that. I did Emergency. Sure. I did
Quincy.
Quincy was my first job ever. And then I did Operation Petticoat. That was then turned into a TV series. Now I'm 20 and I'm a regular on a TV series. And then I got fired.
Oh, no. That's where you got fired.
From that TV series. And had I not gotten fired from that TV series, I would not have been able to audition for Halloween.
It's fate.
And that's one of those moments where you think that's the worst thing that's ever going to happen to you. I thought I would lose my contract. I thought that they would, you know, not pick up my option. And then Halloween happened. And then
the rest
now I'm sitting here at 64 with you. And I am the same girl I was then, except I now know who I am.
Which I love. And we were both born in Santa Monica.
I was actually not born.
Oh,
in
you aren't? I got to fix
Cedars
that.
of Lebanon. Was it on Wikipedia?
Yeah, it's on one of those.
Okay, well, I was Cedars of Lebanon.
Okay, I'll call them.
Thank you.
I'm going to end this sort of the way I started it, talking about the Oscars, because on Oscar nomination day, I immediately looked at the nominations and I said, oh, history. We have got history with Jamie Lee Curtis. You are now in a very small group with the Redgraves, the Fondas, the Derns, and the Houstons, having 3 members of the family all nominated for Academy Awards. Of course, your father nominated in 1958 for The Defiant Ones, your mother for Psycho in 1960, and now Jamie Lee Curtis in 2003.
And they were the first, as you know, my friend Debbie Oppenheimer, your friend, showed up at my house, sitting outside my gate at 5:15 in the morning, and texted and said, I'm sitting in my car, didn't know if you wanted company. And it was the week leading up to the nominations was I had COVID, I had just gotten over COVID.
I know you couldn't come to our Critics' Choice Awards.
And I couldn't be there and celebrate
Which swept, the movie swept.
And I was at home very ill.
Yeah.
And Debbie came in and sat with me. Now, Debbie is an Oscar winner for Into the Arms of Strangers, Stories of the Kindertransport, which was the documentary that she produced about her mother's story. Yeah. So Debbie Oppenheimer is actually the only person I know well. Yeah. I know Kevin Kline, but I don't know him well. Yeah. Debbie Oppenheimer, who was a television producer, is the only person in my life that has an Oscar at her house. And so there was Debbie sitting with me holding my hand when they announced my name. And she took a bunch of pictures. As soon as the moment of shock wore off, the first thought, well, the reason there's a picture of me and I'm crying is I was thinking of my parents. Because we were talking about Jerry Bruckheimer and his hustle. My parents hustled. Yeah. You know, my parents came from nothing. My parents came from impoverished, tragic backgrounds. My father was the son of a tailor in New York City who had his little brother killed by a truck under his watch. Right. You know, in New York City, on the mean streets of New York City, where he would run through neighborhoods because he was Jewish. and you had to run through the Italian neighborhood or you'd get the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah.
My mother, poverty, living in a garage in Merced, California, to two very young parents who, their lives, and that both of them individually and then together
yeah.
rose through the hustle and pain and heartache of this industry to become, in their moment, this incredibly powerful, beautiful couple, and both of them having these successes in the industry. And that the first thought I had was that I am their daughter, and that I am the granddaughter of their parents, and that their grandparents' dreams for my parents, all of the at the Critics' Choice, when Jonathan Wong stood up and talked about the sacrifices those immigrants' parents made for their children to be these creative people. Well, you can call me a Nepo baby all you want, which is to somehow take something away.
Yeah.
I am telling you that my Hungarian grandparents and my Danish immigrant grandparents, yielding those children who then rose to those heights, for those people to then have a child who's sitting here talking to you as an Oscar nominee is just a gorgeous continuum of hustle and great luck and wonderful opportunities and the magic that comes from being an artist.
It's so great. And the Oscars have made that connection, that historical connection too, which has got to feel great. It's got to.
Extraordinary. And I'm going to attend the nominees luncheon wearing the strand of pearls that I received from Edie and Lou Wasserman, who were my godparents.
Yeah.
And so that continuum, that I will sit there in that class picture wearing something that my godparents gave me when I was a child.
It's amazing.
Again, through their love of family, their love of friendship with my parents, and again, to be able to be this person in this moment, connecting all those dots. I'm a dot connector. I like to connect the dots.
I love it.
And
I love it.
it's very meaningful to me.
So great.
And the thrill of a lifetime. And I never thought I would get to say that. I never dreamt about it.
Yeah.
It was a walled off space in my life that I didn't even know existed, let alone a longing for it. I just never entertained it because I have a beautiful life without it.
Yeah. Well, you got it though. You got it.
God bless you.
Jamie Lee Curtis, thank you.
Look, I broke your...
Thank you.
It's plastic!
I'm sorry.
Look, it's fake. It's
Welcome
show
to Hollywood.
business. It's show-off business. And I thought these were succulents that had been nurtured and they're plastic. Oh my goodness me, I'm sorry.
You're real.
I'm real and they're plastic.
Thanks for joining us on the Actors Side. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.